Greetings all, welcome back to Game Time. I'm still Kyle, and this is still PlayStation Week here on Game Time, kind of highlighting some various PlayStation themed videos over the next couple days. Thanks to everybody for checking out the minis. I'm surprised a lot of people didn't know what they were, but that's kind of why I do some of these videos, to kind of show that off. Today we're going to be taking a look at the PlayStation TV. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. This was doing the PlayStation themed week, was good motivation to do so. So in Japan it was called Vita TV, and when it was released several months later here in North America, and I think Europe as well, they just dropped the Vita and just went with PlayStation TV. It's a neat little micro console you can hook up to your TV to play not all Vita games, but some. I'll see if I can find a good list and provide a link in the description for the complete list of Vita compatible games for this. As well, it's a great device to do some PS4 remote play with if you don't have a Vita or a smartphone to do the remote play. So it's kind of a fun one. Other than that, I just want to give a quick shout out to the PlayStation Blogcast. It's a podcast about upcoming PS4 games and Vita as well. Sid and the gang are always very entertaining. It's an official one from Sony. They do official interviews with game developers and whatnot. It's not all PS4 games. They do various other multimedia, and they're not professionals anyway. They get derailed quite often. And that's the best part of the podcast, is hearing them kind of go off on some various things. So that's all really I have to say. I'll provide a link in the description below for the PlayStation Blogcast as well. And yeah, I think I'll link up their iTunes and Podbean. And while you're on Podbean, why not check out my own podcast, the Game Time Arcade, that I do with my buddy Fearless Leader. I also kind of uploaded some videos, or the audio, here on YouTube as well. So it's a good chance to check that out. Go to my main page, you can find all the previous podcasts here on YouTube. But check us out on Podbean, so you gotta get them out there on quicker. So let's take a look at the PlayStation TV. We're gonna hook it up and see what it's all about next here on Game Time. Alright, it's not the same hookup as the Vita has, so if you lose your Vita charger, kind of like I did, don't think that this would be a good replacement or backup, because it's actually a different type of connector. But here's the little unit itself. As you can see here on the front, we'll take a quick tour of the system. The Sony logo there. There's a little LED light. It's got fingerprints all over it. My apologies, I actually hate that. Little LED light there. It kind of shows when it's on. On the side, there's where your Vita card slot goes. You put your Vita games in there. On the other side is nothing. On the back, here's this is pretty neat. I like this power button. You can press and hold to keep it in standby mode. You have card there, memory card slot. I have 8 gig memory card in there. Same ones that the Vita uses. Right next to that, here is the controller port. So if you want to hook up a PS3 or PS4 controller, you do so through there, and you can charge it while you're playing, or even in standby mode. I think it charges, kind of similar to the PS4. Under the letters HDMI is where the HDMI cord goes to hook up to your TV. No composite or component out, it's HDMI only, sorry. And that big slot right there is where your Ethernet cable goes if you hook it up to a wired connection. And that little circle is where the power slot goes. On the bottom, just some Sony logo, PlayStation TV, the model number, etc. So it's very small. In fact, a lot of people like to compare it to decks of cards in their videos, so I'll do the same. This is just a standard deck of cards, nothing too special. So you can see pretty much just a little bit longer than a average deck of cards. Thickness-wise, the deck of cards actually is just a tiny bit thicker, so that's kind of interesting to see. So there we go, deck of cards for comparison, because I do not have any bananas. That's the system itself. Again, you can hook up a normal PS3 controller to it, or you can hook up a go Kyle Arms PS4 controller to it. Like I said, because they both use USB there. So why not? Yeah, that does it for the system itself. Like I said, PlayStation Vita TV in Japan, just PlayStation TV here in the US and North America, and I'm pretty sure it's just PlayStation TV in Europe as well. I'm not confident. Someone might need to fact check me on that, but I think it's only called Vita TV in Japan. So let's hook this bad boy up and see what it can do, and I'll give my final thoughts at the end of this video. Alright, the first thing you might notice when you turn on the PlayStation TV on is a very familiar menu screen. This is just like it looks on the PlayStation Vita, same icon, same background music and everything. The only thing that's different is this little power button right there in the upper right hand corner. They don't have that on the Vita just because you can turn it off on the system itself. Up here you got your notifications. This is everything that you download and ready to install, or who's online, etc., etc. So that stays the same. I'm not connected to the internet right now, otherwise I'd show you the browser in PlayStation Store, but browser just kind of works like it does on the Vita. It's pretty solid. You can do, there's a few things you can't do, but you can still do the important things like YouTube. So if you want to watch some more Game Time with Kyle videos on YouTube, you can definitely do so through the PSTV browser, as well as various streaming services, etc., etc. Not Netflix, though, I don't think. PlayStation Store, very much like it is on the Vita as well. In fact, I think it might be optimized a little bit for the PSTV, in that you can download games that you can just play on the PSTV, not games that you can't play. Like, for example, you can't do the Uncharted, so I don't think it's in the PlayStation Store. So videos and music, you can do the remote play with the PS4, works pretty well. Actually works very good. I'll give them that. You can view the photos that you can install on here. Twitch, Crackle, those apps work pretty good. Again, no Netflix. You can go to your content manager. You can manage anything that might be on the system itself. And I think I am going to view this here just for a second. You can copy content. It comes with almost 8 gigs of built-in space. Not a lot, but again, this is mainly used, and I mainly use it just to play some Vita games, or I downloaded some PS1 games. I'll show you here. As you can see, some of the things that I've downloaded. So it's okay. There's not a ton of memory on here. I wish it was at least 16. 32 models would be pretty nice as well. But and speaking of that, here's the games that I do have on there. Again, I put some minis on there. I have a couple PS1 games I have to get better organized in my folders, etc. But yeah, Minecraft works on here, works very nicely. Need for Speed. I'll even show off here Killzone and Need for Speed, just because we know that those games work. Let's do so right now, actually, because I don't have too much of anything else to show off, so we'll play a quick race or two in this. Okay, back at it. The load times, there we go. Sorry about that. The load times are a little iffy. I wish that they were, I mean, they're not awful. I can be a little patient more than some people. They're not awful, but they could be a little quicker. But yeah, I mean, this is just downloaded onto the system itself. I didn't have enough, the kind of a lengthy or a big game here, and didn't have enough space for it per se on the Vita. So it's nice that I can actually play a game that I own, even though I didn't have enough space for it on my handheld. The PSTV can take care of a couple of those, I think. So you gotta see how it goes. It's not awful looking. In fact, it's probably, this particular version is not an extremely good PS Vita port. It looks a little bit more PS2-ish, if anything. But fun game. And again, it's not all about graphics. It is a fun game. And if you're very fine with playing Need for Speeds on the PS2, then I think you'll get a load of this game here. I think it's fine. So let's actually pause, and I'll go back by hitting the PlayStation button. I'm using a PS3 controller. You can keep things running in the tabs, so very much like on the Vita, you can do that. And you can even do multiple games at once. All right, let's try out a PS1 game. Everyone loves good old PS1. We'll do some Mega Man Legends. This game's actually compatible with the PSTV, so I'm not sure if I played this yet, so I'm going to pause the video, maybe play around with it a little bit, and save some time. Alright, Mega Man Legends. This is a PS1 classic. Got it downloaded. Actually, it was on sale. That and Mega Man Legends 2. not too long ago on the PlayStation Store. They got some great sales going on. Oh, we gotta do the directional. That shoulder buttons to turn are it's awful. There we go. It's a little better. Of course, kind of some pricier games on the PS1. So these are a particular example where I don't mind some digital copies over the physical ones, just because they're a little too pricey for me. Plus, I have this on the N64 too. So, but it's a good way to get Legends too, I think. I forgot how you said I could lock onto that. But yeah, this, like I said earlier, is kind of a good way to play some PS1 classics, etc. Hold down circle to tear off my tabs there. And yeah, I'm not too sure what else to show off. I mean, like I said, this is kind of a stripped down, pretty basic. I'm not connected to the internet. I show you some of this stuff here, but it works kind of like how you would think it would work. The PlayStation Now streaming game service is on here. I never subscribed to that, but I hear it works pretty darn well on the Vita, and I'm assuming it's going to work just as good here on the PlayStation TV. This is one we can kind of stream a huge library of PS3 games, and I guess coming soon, PlayStation 4 and older classics in there as well. You got your settings, you got your calendar. So, final thoughts here, very quick, because I'm done with the video here. Is it worth having? Yes and no. I suppose if you're a PlayStation fanatic, you got to have that in collection. I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I did enjoy it. I think it's good to have to play to store some extra content. If you're like me, you have a good Vita collection or want to get even more Vita games, both physical and unfortunately digital, but that's the only way you can get some of the games. Those memory cards are pretty outrageous price still. This is a nice alternative. I can get I think I have an extra 4 or 8 gig card. I have the 8 gig card. We looked at the memory before. So it's a nice way to play some extra PS1 or Vita games or some minis, etc. that you might not always have on your Vita, so I think it's a good alternative way to do that. It's a fun little YouTube player, so I don't... when it came out, it was around $100 or so. I think that's not a good price to ask for it. If you're able to find this, I think $30 or under, I think it's more worth it. Because keep in mind, you do have to get that memory card too. It comes with about a gig of onboard storage, even without the memory card. So you're able to do that, but it's not a lot of games you can download on there. So otherwise, yeah, friends list and everything. I think it's fun. If you're gonna put this in a bedroom or family room, downstairs, whatever, remote play with the PS4. That's a good way to do it. If you're not a big remote play fan on the Vita or on your smartphones now, we got that nice little remote play app. I think this is a good way to do it. And you can hardwire. You got a wired internet connection you can put in there as well for a little bit better service. So that's my thoughts there. It's not terrible. What very little content unfortunately is here, I think's good. So I'll end with that. I'll let you make your own choice there. Thanks everybody for watching and subscribing if you've done so. And yeah, leave a comment. Your thoughts on PlayStation TV. I do read and respond to all comments sooner or later. So thanks everybody for watching again, and we'll see you in the next video. So take care. Happy gaming.